course, I want to start off by saying I'm Sarah. I'm really excited to talk to all of you today. I know I'm talking to a mixed group of people, whether that's down to your age or your gender, but everyone is going to walk away today either learning something new, something they can start implementing, or something they can share with a loved one or someone who might find this information useful. I am an online coach for fitness and nutrition, and I help women through a variety of ages. My clients at the moment range from 24 all the way through to 68. But my main pool of people are at that age of maybe getting fit for 40 or in their 40s and starting to think about longevity or wanting to achieve their goals and start navigating perimenopause. And my ethos as a coach is to get women to learn how to love their bodies again, prioritize themselves through strength training and learning about nutrition so that they can include the foods they love. Because I feel probably the majority of you who I am talking to have grown up thinking that if you're not skinny, you're not cool, or the way to lose weight is through extreme dieting or restriction. And I'm here today to talk you through about balance. But obviously, if I had more time, I would love to dive into that. But we're definitely going to mainly touch upon the menopause. So to start off with, write me in the group chat and I will do an example. If you've ever said that your body just doesn't respond like it used to, so maybe like it used to in your 20s, or if the menopause is what's holding you back towards your goals, or I'm actually going to add a third point in there. If you're in your 20s, just feeling like you're doing everything right and still not achieving your goals. So I'm just going to flick to the chat, and all I want you to do in capital letters, just put me. So 1, I know you're listening. 2, I know you're here with me. If you've ever said something like that before. Me. So you're not alone in this journey, whether you're in your 20s or in your 40s starting to navigate menopause, or even if you are through the menopause and in that third final stage of post-menopause, which I'll break down in a second. So that's a realization that you're not alone. And I'm even going to include the women that reached out to me before joining SGC. So I want to give you some reassurance that you're not going to feel stuck forever. I'm going to give you those tools, those tips today that I've used for these 2 particular clients that I'm going to talk about right now. But women before joining SGC feel just like you. Feel like they're broken, feel exhausted, feel overwhelmed, feel like they just don't know what to do. And it's the menopause that's holding them back. So these 2 clients are both the same age when they joined SGC at 47. So they're definitely in the mix of perimenopause. For Caroline here, I remember that first call that we had together, and she said, if I don't do anything about it now, it's definitely the menopause and I'm just going to keep putting on weight. She was scared. She was frustrated that nothing was working. And with the tools that I'm going to give you today, managed to get Caroline 9 kg down in 5 months. Or Hayley, one of my longest clients. She's been with me over a year and she's even staying with me till the end of this year in December. She's already lost 12 kg and she came to me with dieting pretty much her whole life. She had capped herself at 1,500 calories and was wondering why she just wasn't losing the weight. And again, with the tools that I'm going to give you, and I'm going to break them down in this call, she managed to lose 12 kg. But Hayley is an example of that. It isn't just the weight loss. She's still working with me today because there's so much more to that. I guess we should start off by just discussing what menopause actually is. So it's a natural biological stage when the menstrual period stops permanently. So you split that into 3 stages. You've got your perimenopause, which for most people usually begins around mid-40s and is often the hardest part. It's often where you get those symptoms. It's often where you don't feel like yourself anymore. And that will go through many years. And menopause, which we all say, oh, we're going through the menopause, which the menopause is only one day. It's the single day that marks 12 months without a period. And then after that day, you go into postmenopause, which is life after. So I wrote down some common symptoms, whether that's you start to feel hot flushes, maybe you see your sleep getting disrupted, maybe you see mood changes or mood swings, maybe you're starting to forget things. Usually you might see fat gain around your stomach area due to the cortisol and reduced recovery. So this graph explains it perfectly, what happens in perimenopause. This is the stage or the phase that we want to concentrate in, because this is where you're going to find things a little bit harder. Why am I maybe not losing weight? Why am I happy one minute, angry the next? Why am I feeling like this? Because this is what is going on inside your body. Your hormones are everywhere. But the main thing we want to look at is this decline in estrogen. And what estrogen does is it enhances the brain's response to emotional signals and supports healthy cognitive function. So if you feel like you're forgetting things, well, it's your decline in estrogen. Estrogen increases your serotonin and also reduces your cortisol. So no wonder through this stage, you might feel a rise in stress, whether that's inside the body or externally as well. And what happens with estrogen in a normal menstrual cycle, so normal, regular periods before perimenopause, is that estrogen rises within the follicular phase. So there is two phases that you want to remember in your menstrual cycle: the follicular phase and the luteal phase. The way I like to remember it is follicular, fun. So you feel good, you're fun, and that's when, your estrogen is at its highest. Then the luteal phase is when you feel low, L for low. So that's the two ways of remembering it. If you're ever feeling like you just forget what those two phases are: follicular for fun, luteal for low. You're not feeling very, very good within yourself. So no wonder through these stages of perimenopause why you just don't feel like yourself again. And of course, in a minute, we will be going through the tips and tricks to make you feel yourself again, to make you feel confident, to make you achieve your goals as well. So I've broken them down into 4 pillars. So today we're going to discuss strength training, fueling properly, managing stress and recovery, and just talking about consistency over perfection. You might be writing notes, but you can message me just the word menopause so I know where you've come from. I've done a cheat sheet, so maybe you won't be able to understand your handwriting, but I put it in a nice document so you all can keep something and download it, and then you've got your keepsake so you can remember this information. It's crucial to start strength training, whether that's in your 20s, 30s, or going through these stages of perimenopause, because 1 in 3 women over 50 will fracture a bone if they fall. And I'm going to say it again. 1 in 3 women over 50 will fracture a bone if they fall. So imagine what strength training can do to improve your balance, to make you stronger. Because what menopause does, because of the decline in estrogen, it increases your risk for osteoporosis. So if you haven't heard of osteoporosis before, it's a bone disease that makes your bones weak and brittle if you're not supporting your body through things like resistance training or protein, which we'll go on to in a second. So what is amazing about strength training is that it's going to preserve your muscle, support bone density, boost your metabolism, and also improve your confidence. When you are strength training 2 times a week, let's say, you're going to feel really good about yourself. because you're building in strength, you're building in confidence. So it's never too late to start. I'm going to say my mum is a perfect example. My mum is soon to turn 61 this year. She started her strength training journey. Yes, a little bit too late, but it's never too late to start. Ideally, I would have liked her to have started 40s or even sooner, but so that's why I'm talking to you today. And she has found a huge improvement in her balance and mainly in her confidence. But if you are looking for a place to start at home, start in a safe space, start where it's just you, have a YouTube video, get some dumbbells. And then if you do want to invest maybe in a PT or having that one-to-one so you can fill yourself with confidence, then absolutely that could be your next step. But 2 sessions is more than enough. So those that put 0, I want you to make that step to 1. Those that have put only doing 1 to 2 sessions, try and make that step to 2 to 3. Just do that little bit more. And soon enough, it will become your lifestyle. And I am glad that we are getting to a place where for women, it is getting more common for strength training. Majority of you, a lot of it was just cardio. And this strength training is a new thing. But my God, you're going to see the improvements of your health if you start implementing this. So that is number one thing to do. The second pillar is, of course, fueling for exercise and your daily life. If I had more time today, I would love to go more in depth of fueling for your daily life, but let's say fueling for exercise. A lot of my clients who start their journey are wanting to lose weight or have eaten in a calorie deficit. A calorie deficit is eating less than what you are burning. But for some people, they take this a little bit too extreme and have eaten in a low calorie diet for years. And we don't want to be in a calorie deficit for a long period of time. We can be for 12 weeks, 16 weeks. For some clients, I might take a little bit longer if their body's responding well. But that's kind of the time that you want to be in that. And a lot of clients before joining SGC would be skipping meals, maybe saving themselves for the weekend, maybe saving themselves because they're going out for dinner later, or feeling like going into a really low calorie diet is the right thing to do to try and achieve their weight loss goals. But I promise you, undereating can make your symptoms worse. So can increase your cortisol levels even more, can ruin your sleep even more, can cause that brain fog, can cause that exhaustion. If you're already tired, being in a really low calorie deficit is definitely going to make things worse. So I've put a few points here, but I am going to go on to the 4 major points that everyone can start implementing, whatever the age, whatever the gender. But overall, to support your symptoms, you do want to be eating more protein. So things like chicken, red meat, fish, or things like tofu, tempeh, edamame beans, pulses, lentils, all of those things. And it's crucial to combat age-related muscle loss, support your bone density, manage your weight, and stabilize your energy and mood. Number 2, carbs are not the enemy. I will quickly drift into this, is the fact that a lot of people are scared of carbohydrates. That was a trend back in the day. For some people, that still is, to maybe follow this low carb diet. But remember, there are also carbohydrates in most foods, including fruit, including vegetables. It isn't just bread, pasta, rice, potatoes. So don't feel that if you're cutting those out, you're living a low carb diet. And number 3, all that skipping meals does is raise your cortisol levels, maybe even increase that storage of fat and fatigue. So if you are skipping breakfast, if you are trying to see yourself through till dinner, please eat 3 main meals a day and snacks if you also need it. So what are my 4 major points that I would get a client to do, no matter the age, no matter the gender, but it has highly helped those with perimenopausal symptoms, but also IBS, PCOS. So what are they? Number 1, start the day with 30 grams plus of protein in your breakfast. It is great for feeling fuller for longer. It's going to help with those mid-afternoon cravings or even late night snacking as well. I truly believe what you have for breakfast impacts the rest of the day. So if you only start the day with a banana, you're going to be hungry an hour later. You're going to be going, oh, I'll have a little snack there before my lunch. And then you try and see yourself through with lunch. And again, it causes that knock-on effect of feeling tired, like you're hungry, and just causing you to snack. So if you're not usually a breakfast eater, start the day with something small, but make sure protein is there. Then build it up over time. Aim for 15 grams, aim for 20, aim for 25. And then when you get the hang of it, then you can go for that 30 plus. That is the magic number. Then number 2, don't just grab a banana. Always pair your carbohydrate sources with a protein or healthy fat. So most often we will go for, we'll just grab that little biscuit, or we'll grab that piece of fruit to tie ourselves over, or if you're feeling like you need a pick-me-up. But what this does is just grabbing that banana is going to cause your sugars to spike and elevate. But because they haven't got something to sustain their energy, it's going to cause that crash. And an hour later or however long later, you're going to feel like you need something else to pick yourselves up again. So doing this simple pairing is going to really help you throughout the day. So whether that is before your training session, you have banana and peanut butter, dried apricots and cottage cheese, rice cakes and hummus, you can see that you've got the carbohydrate, which is also known as the sugar, but you're pairing it with the protein and the healthy fats. So absolutely, you can start writing those examples down. But if that is something that you can do from today, tomorrow, this will really help you, especially those with, let's say, IBS, PCOS, and perimenopausal symptoms. Number 3, never train fasted. A lot of time or information that you might find online is, if you want to lose fat, train fasted. But a lot of that evidence is done on men, not women. We react very differently. And to put it simply, it is, if you train fasted, you're just undoing the work that you're putting in, especially if you're weight training. So something small, half a banana and peanut butter, that's going to be the go-to snack I say today. But it can be something small like that, or maybe a single date and a bit of peanut butter. Or if you don't like things like that, then send me a message and I'll give you some examples, but either some yogurt, some Greek yogurt and a bit of fruit. That could be another example, something really light to start the day, especially if you train in the mornings, but never train fasted. And the last one would be tip number 4. So aim between 20 to 30 grams of fibre daily. And you're probably thinking, how am I supposed to know these quantities? And I would potentially, for a week or 2, download MyFitnessPal and just keep a log of your food over the next, let's say, 2 weeks, and just see if you are hitting these, especially these 2 figures. Don't worry about calories, don't worry about the other macronutrients for now. I would just start off with these 2 and then you can start incorporating other things into it. But especially if you're going to start upping your protein because you are now strength training and you want to support your body with that strength training, then you also want to increase your fiber, because It can cause constipation if you're increasing your protein. But also what fibre does is it helps you feel fuller. It's great for your gut health. And if you're not eating enough, as I say, you can start to cause symptoms maybe like bloating or constipation. But the magic, or what ties these 4 tips together, is that these all help stabilize your blood sugar levels. So when we saw that graph, we saw that in perimenopause, our hormones are all over the place. So if we can stabilize one thing, which is your blood sugar levels, you're going to find maybe weight loss or your mood or your energy just feel a lot more stable. So they're not just going to aid weight loss, it's going to help with your symptoms, better your hormone regulation, and also see improvements in your sleep, in your cravings, and in your inflammation. So 100%, these are the 4 things that I want you to start implementing if you don't already do so. And if you want some more inspiration of lots of recipes, go ahead and go to my page. It's just Sarah G Coaching, and there's plenty there that you can get started with. We move on to the 3rd pillar. So I've just wrote some things down to help manage your stress and aid your recovery. So as we know, our cortisol is rising through the perimenopausal stage. And some of us might not be lucky to get 8 hours of sleep, but this is the number that you will find maybe you're not going to wake up feeling so hungry, because a lack of sleep can increase the hormone ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. So when we do have that lack of sleep and we do feel that little bit hungry the next day, it's probably because you just haven't had enough sleep. So sleep is super important in your journey. But again, for some people, this is out of your control. Maybe you've still got kids coming into your room. Maybe you do struggle with your sleep. So think about your environment. Are you winding down in the evenings? Are you scrolling on your phone? Could you start reading before bed? Could you supplement something that is going to help with your sleep? Magnesium glycinate is probably the most pushed supplement for those at the perimenopausal stage or for those that are struggling with their sleep. So that could be something that you do your own research on, but I know as a coach, I would recommend it to my clients. And I've also got a lot of online coaches who are online coaching friends who are going through the perimenopause, and they honestly said this is a game changer for them. And limiting screen time, of course, can improve your sleep. Another tip could be no caffeine after 12. For some people, caffeine doesn't really affect them, but if it does affect you, then maybe push your time a little bit later or switch to decaf. Potentially looking at maybe doing some meditation, journaling, gratitude. I've started a brand new morning routine, and I honestly swear by it, but I do 15 minutes of meditation in the mornings, and I will also write down one habit I'm going to stick to today and one thing that I'm grateful for. And I've seen a huge improvement in my positivity, my productivity, and the way I'm going about my days. So I would really heavily push this if this is something that you can fit into your weekly routine. Sauna 1 to 2 times a week. I know not everyone has exposure to this or the time to do this, but if you do, it would really help with things like your cortisol levels, your recovery, and also your cardiovascular as well. Trying to push that 15-20 minutes, but of course build it up over time. And now creatine, another supplement. Again, you can do your own research on it. I'm not going to say to you, go and take it straight away, but this is a supplement that I would push my clients to start taking. And there is lots of evidence that it supports women going through the perimenopause, especially with that brain fog and your memory loss. It's going to boost your cognitive function, as well as support your training and recovery. So again, I would start taking creatine. You don't need a lot of it, 3-4 grams a day, once a day as well. And over time, you will start to see an improvement. And last but not least, the fourth point. Everything I've spoken about today is about consistency, not perfection, not for a short period of time. I am a coach who is anti the quick fixes. I'm not here that pushes that. I am here for longevity. If you work on your goals for 6, 8, 12 months, it will become a lifestyle. It will become a habit. It will become second nature. And the reason why I look for consistency is because you will then have the time to just focus on one thing for a period of time. Then maybe add another. And over time, you will feel like you've gone through this lifestyle change without the overwhelm, without feeling like you've gone on a diet or feel like you're being good. Those terms, that mindset that you have of, I've got to be good today, or I can't have this because that is naughty, that mindset will soon start to fade away. So I'm going to go through the 3 non-negotiables. 3 non-negotiables is something that I ask my clients to do. So on your busiest week, not when you're on holiday or not when you've got an empty diary, on your busiest week, so we've just had Christmas, probably go to that sort of point in time. What do you think you could stick to? And this could include the 2 strength sessions that we mentioned earlier. Maybe you want to start including a daily walk, or maybe you have a watch that does your steps, so you might set yourself a little step goal. Maybe it is to start the day with 30 grams of protein, or you might not be there yet. You might be looking at focusing on 15 grams of protein a day, 20 grams of protein. So start writing in the chat maybe 3 non-negotiables that you are going to do from, let's say, tomorrow or next week when you've planned out your week. And this is at your busiest week. What can you do that is a breeze? So don't start doing 10,000 steps if you're barely hitting 3,000. So really be realistic in where you're at right now. So we always set to our busiest so that we never feel like we're failing. Why do we want to do something and fail at it? Be realistic in what you set. And this is going to help you stay consistent no matter the year or your emotions. And lastly, before we do questions, I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail in how I do support women one-to-one in my coaching. So everyone will get a personalized workout, whether that is from home or the gym, whether you train 2 times a week, 4 times a week, 6 times a week, and wherever you are at in your journey, whether you are starting out, whether you've only ever used dumbbells before, or whether you are someone who maybe has completed high roxes and running events and you count yourself as confident, whether you're working out at home or the gym. I also provide nutritional guidance. I never say a meal plan because I'm not. I'm anti-meal plans. I'm here to educate you, just like we've gone through today, to learn about your choices, to learn about your hormones, so that you start to gain the knowledge around your nutrition. So when you finish working with me, you know exactly what you're doing, rather than just following a set meal plan. Once you finish that meal plan, all those old habits start creeping back because you haven't become aware of your habits. I will provide you with daily support, accountability, of course, more tools to help you with consistency. You will join a community of like-minded women, and weekly I will do webinars like this so that you're constantly educating yourself around things like nutrition or general health and fitness topics as well. So as well as DMing me, Menopause, you can also just message me the word info and I will happily talk you through it one-on-one together if working with me one-to-one would be something that you're interested in. So thank you for listening today.